Paul and Silas and others went to prayer, that a certain slave girl possessed with the spirit of fortune-telling and brought her masters much profit doing it, met them. This girl followed them around and shouted out,
"These men are the servants of the Most High God, and they proclaim to us their ways of salvation."
She did this for many days. Finally, Paul, greatly annoyed, turned and said to the demon that possessed her,
"I command you in the name of Jesus Christ to leave her."
And the demon came out at that very moment. However, when her masters saw that their hope for profit was gone, they seized Paul and Silas, dragged them into the marketplace to the authorities, the magistrates, and said,
"These men are Jews and are causing trouble in this city. They teach customs which are not lawful for us Romans to receive or observe."
Then the multitude rose up against them, and the magistrates tore off their clothes and commanded them to be beaten with rods. When they had beaten them with the whips, they threw Paul and Silas in prison and commanded a jailer to keep them securely. Having received such an order, he put them in the inner prison and fastened their feet with leg irons. Later, around midnight, Paul and Silas were praying and singing hymns to God, and the prisoners were listening to them. Suddenly there was a great earthquake, an earthquake so huge that the foundations of the prison were shaken. At that moment, the doors were opened and everybody's chains were loosened. The jailer awoke from his sleep and saw the prison doors were open. Thinking the prisoners had escaped, he drew his sword and was about to kill himself. But Paul called out with a loud voice,
"Do yourself no harm, for we are all here."
The jailer called for a light, ran into the cell, and fell down trembling before Paul and Silas. He then brought them out of the cell and asked,
"Sirs, what must I do to be saved?"
Paul and Silas told him,
"Believe on the Lord Jesus Christ, and you and your household will be saved."
Then they taught the Lord's message to him and to all who were in his house. The jailer washed Paul and Silas's wounds from the beating they had received, and then right after, he and all his family were baptized. Later, when the jailer took them to his house, he set food before them, and they rejoiced, having believed God was with everyone in his household.